Well, Elon Musk is either joking on X or actually toying with the idea of buying Hasbro to unwokify Dungeons and Dragons.
I would support that.
Yeah, I would too. It's weird though, because this is how Elon Musk talks when he's threatening to do something too. Because he did this with X, didn't he?
Yeah, Twitter at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
He started joking about it.
Yeah, he's just
and
like,
then-
oh, how much is it? Her.
Right.
So
and
this-
MSNBC, same thing, right? He's like, nah, maybe.
Yeah.
So a lot of this started, I mean, Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, it's all been going woke for years. That whole scene, the whole board gaming scene. I have been permanently banned from Board Game Geek, and which was another fun story. But they're all kind of going woke. The most recent refresh of the 5th edition Player's Guide, I think it's in the Dungeon Master's Guide, has a paragraph about using safe signals if you're triggered by things in the game. Hold your arms up in an X. Now, they've been doing this at some tabletop RPG conventions for years. You hold up a little X card if you're...
Yeah, it's been like a...
You write your pronouns on your thing. You
like
hold
a
up your
house
X
rule
card.
people have adopted.
Yeah. Oh, this is too far for me. And I have a lot of thoughts on this. On the one hand, I understand, like, in an RPG that gets very descriptive, some people might be like, I'm a little uncomfortable with this kind of thing. But that's not the kind of game I want to play. I want to play a game where we go fight dragons. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, and it's just... I don't think a rule book needs rules about common human decency of like, Travis is starting to have a panic attack because we're fighting a fish and he hates fish.
This reminds me of that time a fish killed my father.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Clowns. And clowns killed my dad.
And it's like any basic, any group that you know that as friends, you're going to kind of know, he doesn't like that. We're going to stay away from that. So I don't feel like it needs to be in a rule book. And it's also just very fun. This is just very funny to me. That you would go like this.
So for our blind listeners,
Kyle's-
Kyle made an X shape with his arms above his head. Do people like go and play D&D with strangers at
conventions
all the
like
time?
Gen Con, you'll
Oh,
go
I
and
see.
like it's a lot of like one shots. You'll just go, we're gonna play Tomb of Horrors, and you go sit down and play Tomb of Horrors. And-
Well, last time I played, I had one friend in the room, and the rest of them were strangers. So it's kind of a combination of the two.
yeah.
Friends and strangers.
So a Twitter account, an X account, Grums actually posted, and he posted this from a preview version of the 5th edition guide. So everybody was starting to comment on it. And then there's this new book, it's like a history of Dungeons and Dragons, 1970 through 1977, the making of original Dungeons and Dragons. And the book's foreword has this apologetic paragraph about, Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, was problematic in many ways, and the original book was sexist and racist and and it's just wokeism is this thing that just infects these institutions and then attacks the original creators of these things, which is just terrible. So Musk replied to this post about it and said, how much is Hasbro?
Then Hasbro
He started feeling around in his couch cushions. He's like,
Does Hasbro own the rights to HeroQuest?
Yes.
We could
The
also
edition that we're playing. They
have a
own,
new edition of
Hasbro
HeroQuest.
owns Wizards of the Coast, which owns Avalon Hill, which owns HeroQuest.
Okay.
That's the parentage.
All right.
No.
I'm just saying he could get another edition of HeroQuest.
Yes. Actually, we played with the new rules, and we have a video of it.
Oh yeah. Just
So
wait.
let's watch it.
Clawbar, Willis, I just want to say thanks again for inviting me to play D&D today. It's been way too long. And hey, you guys even met a girl.
Of course, we met a girl. We have a +4 in charisma, but a +1 billion in charisma.
She's his cousin.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, anyway, I dusted off my trusted old copy of the rule book.
Chris, we're using the updated, more inclusive player's handbook.
Yeah, Chris, it's exclusive.
It's inclusive.
So I said exclusive.
Oh, okay. I mean, we never excluded anyone when we played back in the day, did we?
Not now, Chris. I'm explaining how inclusive the game is.
Yeah, Chris, it's explaining.
Now, let us all introduce our characters. I am Willis the Dungeon Master, and I will also be playing the character of a non-binary level 5 tiefling bard who is driven to get revenge on an evil sorcerer who attacked their town and killed their parents.
I am Clawbar, the Strong, and my character's name is also Clawbar, the Strong, he, him, and he's driven to revenge because an evil sorcerer attacked his town and killed his parents.
You're just repeating my backstory, Clavbar. Did you even work on your backstory? Never mind. Tiffany and Chris, who are you guys playing?
Trans halfling named Zorbo. She, her.
I'm Zorbo. Uncanny dodge. Halfling nimbleness. Pew, pew, pew.
I just brought my character from back in the day, Steve. He's a human fighter. What? He's a level 5, has a sword, pretty cool.
Nobody plays a basic fighter anymore. Where'd you even find this guy?
Yeah, Chris. What a nerd.
Here, give me your character sheet and I'll get him updated for modern audiences.
Modern audiences.
Here you go. Good as new.
Okay. My character is a non-binary polyamorous Caesar dragon thing.
Dragonborn.
Oh, Dragonborn.
Yeah.
But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. In this game, don't we go into dungeons and kill dragons? Okay, what is that? What is she doing?
That's our safe sign. The latest edition of D&D encourages all players to hold up a safe sign if someone is making them feel uncomfortable.
Okay. What'd I say to make you feel uncomfortable?
Well, I'm uncomfortable with the colonialist implications of occupying a dungeon and literally genociding dragons based on racial stereotypes. Oh, and in case you didn't know, I'm half dragon.
You mean your character's half dragon?
No.
Okay, but dragons are evil. And in D&D, you kill them.
Chris, the rest of the group is clearly uncomfortable with the direction that you're taking Dungeons and Dragons.
You mean the direction of going into dungeons and slaying dragons?
That's correct. Here, you'll also need to fill one of these out. It's a game expectations form. You need to fill out all your potential triggers. For example, we're all triggered by racists, such as people that are racist against dragons. But I also have my own personal triggers, such as white supremacy, cis heteronormativity, economic arrangements that could be considered capitalistic. So we put those things on the form so the Dungeon Master knows what to avoid.
It also tells players what potentially sensitive elements might come up in the scenarios, like, for instance, depictions of fascism or NPCs with bigoted belief systems or maybe even sexuality and nudity.
Sex and nudity. Bigots? Look, I just want to delve into dungeons and slay some dragons. Are you sure this is D&D?
Totally! The latest rules updates really improved the game to make it more inclusive and sensitive to all players.
Is that a beholder? Why is it so cute and friendly?
Oh, beholders are cute and friendly now.
Look, whatever. I'll fill the forms out. Okay. Sensitivity forms are all filled out. I won't be triggering anybody anymore. My fighter is a non-binary dragonborn dude. I mean, they. Let's get into the fight. What now?
Well, we don't fight per se.
Then what do you even do in this game?
In this adventure, we are part of a group called the Resistance that is fighting back against an evil wizard named Fronald Frump, who has just been elected dictator of Waterdeep. Chris, go ahead and roll a charisma check to see if you can convince anybody to vote with your protest sign.
20.
You convince several onlookers and you register 7 new voters for the cause!
Yay!
Yay!
It's fun. Clodbar the Strong takes a knee for racial justice.
Okay, go ahead and roll an advocacy check.
It's a 1. Is that good?
Look, do you guys want to play Catan instead? It's a simple, non-offensive game where we can all be colonial settlers on a...
Wow, that looks like a fun
That was
game.
so
that
good.
was exciting.
Yeah.
Where was my invite? Why I wasn't there?
Oh, you didn't get...
I think you.
I love playing Dungeons.
I sent it to your Juno
my Juno email.
email address. Did you?
You were actually.
I haven't used that in 20
We
years.
tried. You were in Oklahoma.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Oak.
The musical.
Oak
You
the
were
musical.
watching Oklahoma the musical.
Um,
Yeah. The only problem I have with all this is that this week everybody's been posting all the like scantily clad drawn girls on X because of it. It's like all the old fantasy art.
Yeah, there's this weird
Yeah.
thing where like free speech people and conservatives kind of end up overlapping, and a lot of people who are conservative aren't really conservative. They just want to go back 40 years.
Yeah, it's the
They want to go back to the 80s.
I
when-
want
when
babes
everybody
on my
had
calendars.
Stacks of Playboys.
Yeah, or it's like the secular right. They're
Yeah.
instead of a religious conservatives, they're like, I want to go back to, like you said, babes and those restaurants
muscle
named after
cars.
owls. And
This is C.S. Lewis about how
That's right.
the devil introduces errors in equal and opposite ways. You know, it's like
that's actually a really apt
No more conservative swimsuit
Observation.
editions, please.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
Whereas I'm like, maybe the covering up women part is good. That part's good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is good.
Maybe a hijab is too far.
Yeah. But
There's
now,
some
then
place
going
in
so far
between.
as to be like, hey, Dungeons and Dragons, you know what it needs? Wheelchairs. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Some of the art in the new book is just so bad, and I don't even mean that from a perspective of it's diverse or something like that. It's just D&D used to have this very like dangerous and deadly and chaotic feel to the world. Like anything could happen. I'll go out and there's this
it's high
crazy
fantasy.
lich, and there's this thing and that thing out there. And it's very scary. There's some great art in the original book where like there's these scared dungeon crawlers, and there's like a giant spider hiding in the darkness right behind him. And I'm like, dude, this is amazing. And you look at the art now, and there's like a guy in a wheelchair wheeling his way into the dungeon. There's these happy orcs that look like Mexicans for some reason now. That is not the world I want to play in. You've clearly taken very specific things about our current culture and just plopped them into this old fantasy world.
It's no longer fantasy.
It's no longer
It's not,
fantasy.
it's not escapism anymore, which is what it was designed to be.
And as the Babylon Bee reported, Dungeons and Dragons has introduced a new 100-sided die for determining your character's gender.
Convenient.
My favorite is Tater Tot.
Tater Tot's a nice gender. And
Yeah.
so we, Travis
Antifa sexual.
Travis shared this and said convenient, and we had some hate mail.
You used to be good.
Adam Ford.
Adam Ford.
Adam Ford.
I really miss Adam Ford.
Travis shared this and said convenient, and we had some hate mail as a reply to this. Yoshi Fan 33, who you can find on Blue Sky, said,
You have to do a voice.
Yoshi!
No, like not a Yoshi voice, like a nerd voice
Okay.
or something.
Okay. You do know D100s already exist, right? Like, not even just D10 percentile dice. There are actually already 100-sided dice for role-playing games.
That's your best voice you've
Thanks.
ever done.
And then Kyle Johnson says,
yes, but this one has genders, not numbers.
then it's not a D&D standard die. Any actual TTRPG player would know that a roll for gender mechanic would use standard percentile dice with a corresponding results table printed in a rulebook.
Wow.
And then someone responds with the gif of,
Superman.
He's like, you missed the joke going over his head. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
there is no joke here. Such a die would never be manufactured as a WOTC branded piece of equipment.